Today we drove from Sarlat to Carcassonne. Since you might not be familiar with where they're located, I included a map. This is a very scenic little village about an hour southeast of Sarlat. Has a population of about 100. In most of Europe, when you enter towns or villages, the name will be on a roadside and usually the road number is given too. When leaving, the sign will have a red line through it. We could have taken an A road, which is like our freeways, and arrived in Carcassonne in 3 hours, but I chose a D road, estimated to take about 4 hours. We had plenty of time, and I liked the rural roads, and I knew one village I wanted to see, and you certainly don't get this close to cows along the freeway. As you can see, this is definitely a rural road. This village lies at the foot of these very steep cliffs. The village forms part of the pilgrimage route for those traveling to Santiago de Compostela in Spain. The population is a little over 200. I wish I'd known that the Pech Merle Cave is home to prehistoric cave paintings and is one of very few prehistoric sites in France which are still open to the general public. Maybe next time. Here's another thing that I didn't know about previously. This is the Chateau des Cabrets. It's a major tourist attraction. It was built during the 16th century, and the current owner started restoring the castle in 1994, and he and his family live there today. Because they live in the castle, it feels more like a family home and not just a museum like most other castles. The road goes along the edge of these steep cliffs, and occasionally you go through the cliff. This village is located over 300 feet above the Lot River. The medieval village was named the favorite village of the French in 2012 by TV viewers. It has 13 listed historic monuments, and the entire town is almost a museum. From the north, this is the only entrance into the village that's up on the hillside. A one-lane bridge. Wow, here's the charming village on this hillside overlooking the Lot River. It's really quite attractive, but the only way to get in there, other than going to this church, is on foot. We did discover several parking lots, basically half a mile down the hill or half a mile above the village. Evidently, in the summer, they do run a shuttle, but not off-season. And looking at the road that was quite steep, one way or the other, you had to go uphill, and so we decided to pass. We had remembered seeing this restaurant that had room for about 3 cars to park, so decided it was a good place for lunch. And it was a good choice. Everything in this little restaurant, salads, savory pies, sandwiches, and desserts are all homemade. We split a tomato tart and a mushroom tart. Unfortunately, we didn't know that this apple dessert made with phyllo dough is a regional specialty and quite famous. Looked really good. Here's our first view of Carcassonne. Since the pre-Roman period, a fortified settlement has existed on the hill where Carcassonne now stands. In its present form, it's an outstanding example of a medieval fortified town with its massive defenses encircling the castle and the surrounding streets, buildings, and its Gothic basilica. The upper town is surrounded by a double wall. The area in between the two walls is where the medieval knights used to joust. The whole area inside the walls was added to the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1997. This map shows the entire city of Carcassonne, and here we're focusing on just the medieval portion. After finding the parking lot for the hotel guests just outside the city walls, we were driven inside the city walls through this gate. Our hotel is located inside the city walls, and you can see the swimming pool, and we're located right next to the Catholic Basilica. They considered this an upgraded room, and it is quite spacious, but it was quite cold. But it has its own patio outside with a nice sitting area and is located fairly close to the swimming pool. Built in the 19th century in a neo-Gothic style, the hotel's foyer and lounges are a mix of neo-Gothic and Art Deco styles. The restaurant does have a Michelin star, but didn't look too interesting to us. This restaurant was maybe a 2-minute walk from our hotel, seating outside, but not at this time of the year, as well as inside and downstairs, and we are downstairs. The restaurant is both a tapas restaurant and a wine bar, and serves regional cuisine as well as local wine and many different beers. Since the name of the restaurant is escargot, we started off with the escargot, and then I had some more foie gras. Stu had beef skewers, and we followed that up with some profiteroles and a bread pudding. Yum! After dinner, we took the short walk back to our hotel, and we found that they'd solved the problem of our room being cold. There's a heater.